Okay, students, this is going to be a quick demonstration on how to implement all the features and tools that you'll need to successfully create your nameplate render. Okay, so I'm in 3ds Max here. I'm going to pull up my reference image quickly using the view image file function. So the file menu, view image file. I have captured my reference image with my cell phone and uploaded it to the computer. So it's in my downloads folder. It's my sketch. And remember, this function will allow you to kind of view any image in a separate window, as you see here. I'm just going to move this out of the way eventually, but just to touch on some of the aspects of the sketch that are recommended or required. You can see that I've got my nameplate design kind of blocked out visually. I have big bold letters. There's some extrusion here, and I want to incorporate some visual elements as kind of like a backdrop or background in addition to my letters. So I've kind of mapped that out here in my plan. I've also made some annotations here, just some text-based details. So all of your plans don't have to be strictly drawn. Okay, it's highly recommended that you use kind of tags and notes here and there to identify the type of details that you want to include. So I have a note here from from metallic letters. I have another note for the tile pattern here. I want to put some kind of neon coloring or neon surface here, so I put another mention of the type of material. That's a emissive material noted there, and each letter is going to kind of have this cylindrical portal that it hovers over or under. So these dark circles here represent the detail that's kind of thumbnailed here. And I just noted too about the lighting. So it covers all the requirements of this assignment. They're all represented in some way in my sketch. Okay. So in 3ds Max, my suggestion is that we start with a plane. Just orienting my viewport to be a little bit more toward my front in the perspective mode. I'm going to start off in the Create tab in Geometry mode. Go to Plane. Just going to get that started. I'm going to make this nice and large, so I'm going to switch over to my Modify panel, and I'm going to give this something like 400 by 400 units, and then I will center this at the X and Y, and the Z is already centered or zeroed out, and I hit the G key for turning on and off my grid. Okay. Now, for this particular assignment, we are creating an image that needs to conform to a very specific dimension. So, chronologically, I usually don't make adjustments to my render until later on, until I've got my subject or my model started. But because the render size, the output of this is going to be so important, I want to make sure that I have a visual cue for following that render size as I work. So I'm going to do a couple things to set this up very quickly, and it's going to be really helpful as I go. So to do that, I'm going to go to F10, that's the F10 key, or the render setup here. I want to check that my renderer is set to Arnold. I want to make sure I'm in the Commons tab. Time output is going to stay single. It's one frame that we're rendering. The area to render should say View. There's some options here that can be a little confusing. Selected is going to look for a specific object to be selected. Region and crop are going to start cutting away some of your image. So try to keep that at view as often as possible. The main thing I want to address is the output size. This is going to be set to custom. And I'm going to put the values of 2400 and 750 for the height. Okay, when I enter those values in, you'll notice that the aspect ratio moves to 3.2. That's the relationship between the width value divided by the height value. That's how you determine aspect ratio, or as it's termed here, image ratio. This pixel aspect is just the one-to-one. That's the square dimensions of the pixel. So you can distort that if you want in a custom output, but your image aspect ratio should be 3.2, and you can actually lock that in. The benefit of locking it is that if I adjust one of these numbers up or down for the sake of getting more pixel resolution in my render, let's say I want just a higher quality render overall, I can bump this up, and the aspect ratio is going to ensure that the framing of my render is consistent. Okay, so no matter if I go higher or lower, the relationship between these two numbers is going to stay the same. And that's going to make sure that the rectangle that my image renders to is consistent. So I'm just going to punch this back to 2400. You see that automatically with it locked, we'll go back to 750. From here, we can go ahead and close this down for now. And what I want to do next is activate my show safe frames. So the Shift F key will do that, or you can pull it down from your viewport mode, whether it's an orthographic mode, one of the orthographics by name here. You just click here and you'll see the option for show safe frame. And when you activate that, you'll see the rectangle that represents the aspect ratio that we just set. And this is what the 2400 by 750 pixels will capture. So just taking a moment here to kind of position this the way I imagine my render will be positioned. I can take this one step further, and this is hard to do without anything in my scene just yet, but I can revisit this as I go. What I might do from here is to go ahead and generate a camera, and the camera is going to guarantee that I can return to this exact view setup in the future and as I go. So to do that, in my perspective mode, once I've got it framed according to what I want to capture, I'm going to hit Control C. Control C will generate a physical camera from the perspective viewport. So from now on, this position of my camera, or the perspective, is actually captured in the camera. So I'm going to switch this back to perspective, and you're going to see this kind of blue thing that pops up. What you're seeing is actually the dimensions of the camera that's represented by the kind of camera icon here. And so I'm in perspective mode, and I do this so that I can go back to moving around my scene. You'll notice that the aspect ratio is represented in the camera. That's adopted from the render settings that we just put in as well. So if I go out of my show safe frame, this gives me the freedom to continue working around my scene, which is important as I model. But at any point I can hit the letter C. That's going to activate my camera viewport, or adjust my viewport to the camera, and then I can hit Shift F and it'll go back exactly to where that framing was. And of course, as I go, if I change my mind, I can always make adjustments to the position of my camera and the target of the camera as needed. But this will guarantee that I can always return there with no problem. I actually like where that is for now, so I'm actually going to freeze this and hide it as well right there in my Scene Explorer. Okay, that way once I deselect it, I can't select it in my viewport again, and it keeps it from being moved in the future. Alright, so I'm going to turn off my safe frame and continue working in my perspective.